My name is Daniel Hayes, and the day my wife told me she regretted every day with me was the day I stopped trying to fix something that had already died. We were sitting in our living room, the evening light slipping through half-closed blinds, casting shadows between us that felt wider than any distance I'd ever known. Clara, my wife of 6 years, was scrolling through her phone while I tried to talk to her about the weekend plans we'd once been excited for. She sighed, rolled her eyes, and said coldly, "I regret every single day I've spent with you." At first, I thought I'd misheard her. But she looked straight at me, her eyes empty of love, her voice sharp with disdain. My heart sank, but I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I simply stood up, took off my wedding ring, and said, "Then make this the last day." I tossed the ring onto the coffee table. It landed with a soft clink, the sound of something ending, quietly but completely. She didn't even look surprised. Instead, she crossed her arms and muttered, "Maybe I will." That was when I realized the woman I once knew was gone. I left the house that night with nothing but my car keys and a duffel bag. I stayed at a friend's place, numb and silent, trying to piece together how our love had turned into this. But the truth revealed itself faster than I expected. A week later, I received a call from my coworker Liam, who sounded uneasy. "Dan," he said, "I don't know if you should hear this from me, but I saw Clara last night. She was out with someone, not just anyone. It was her boss, Eric." My stomach twisted, but I wasn't shocked. The distance, the coldness, the lies about late meetings, it all made sense now. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I decided to be calm, deliberate. I returned home a few days later, pretending everything was fine. Clara acted annoyed to see me but said nothing. That night, she left her phone on the counter while taking a shower. I didn't mean to check it, but when the screen lit up with a message from Eric's speech balloon, my curiosity took over. "Can't wait for our trip next weekend. I'll tell her I'm busy too, winking face." My hands went cold. I opened the chat, messages, photos, plans. It had been going on for months. My chest tightened with fury, but also an odd sense of freedom. I finally knew the truth. The next morning, I packed quietly, leaving the house key on the counter next to her untouched coffee mug. When she returned home from work later, I was already gone. That evening, I transferred half our joint savings into her account and wrote a note that simply said, "You won't hear from me again. I hope you get what you wanted." Then, I disappeared. I moved to another city, cut contact, and focused on rebuilding my life. I poured my time into the small startup I had been dreaming about for years, a digital marketing company. I worked long nights, every ounce of anger turned into drive. Within 2 years, the business took off. Our clients grew from small shops to major brands, and I found myself standing in the office of a company I had built from scratch, surrounded by people who believed in me. 3 years later, I was giving a presentation at a national business conference when I saw her. Clara sat in the audience, her face pale with disbelief. She waited until the session ended and approached me, hesitating before she spoke. "Daniel," she said quietly, "you look incredible. I followed your company. You've really changed." I looked at her, calm and distant. "People change when they stop wasting their time on things that destroy them," I replied. She bit her lip. "I made a mistake. Eric left me a year ago. I was stupid. I miss you." I stared at her for a long moment before saying, "You told me you regretted every day with me. I gave you your wish. You should be happy." Tears filled her eyes. "Can we at least talk?" she asked. I shook my head. "There's nothing left to say." As I turned to leave, I glanced back once and added, "You taught me the difference between love and loyalty. I gave you both, but you gave me neither." She stood there in silence, clutching her purse like it could hold the life she threw away. I walked out, feeling lighter than ever before. That night, as I looked out from my hotel balcony over the glowing city skyline, I slipped on a new ring, not of gold, but of steel, engraved with the words, "Never again." I whispered to myself, "You were right, Clara. Your life might be easier without me. But mine. It's finally worth living."